Sit quietly for a moment and notice what is already here. There are sounds, perhaps distant or near. There are sensations in the body, subtle or strong. There may be thoughts moving gently or restlessly across the mind. Nothing needs to be changed. Just observe. Now let us begin with a simple question. What is the world you are living in right now? At first, it may seem obvious. The room, the people, the responsibilities, the past and the future. But if we look more closely, we begin to see something very important. What we call the world is not only what is out there, it is also what the mind is doing with what is out there. The Buddha pointed again and again to this subtle truth. The mind does not merely receive the world, it participates in shaping it. When a sound arises, it is just sound, but almost immediately, the mind names it. It says, pleasant, or annoying, or irrelevant. With that naming, a feeling follows. With the feeling, a reaction begins. Liking, disliking, ignoring. And from that reaction, a story starts to form. This is how the mind constructs its world. A simple event becomes layered with interpretation. A single word spoken by someone can become a whole narrative. They respect me, or they don't understand me, or something is wrong. These thoughts may seem true, but they are constructions. They are shaped by memory, by habit, by past experiences that are no longer present. The Buddha described this process in terms of contact, feeling, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. These are not abstract ideas. They are happening right now. Contact occurs when the senses meet the world. Feeling arises, pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. Perception recognizes and labels. Mental formations begin to react, to plan, to judge, to imagine. Consciousness knows all of this. And very quickly, without careful attention, this flow becomes solid. It feels like this is reality. But what we are actually experiencing is a constructed experience, shaped moment by moment. Now there is nothing wrong with the mind constructing. This is its nature. It helps us navigate life. It allows us to communicate, to remember, to function. The problem is not construction itself. The problem is that we do not see it as construction. Because we do not see clearly, we become trapped. Imagine building a house and then forgetting that you built it. You begin to believe that you were born inside it, that it defines you, that you cannot step outside. This is what happens with the mind's world. We create identities. I am this kind of person. We create expectations. This should happen. We create fears. This must not happen. And then we live inside these creations as if they are fixed and unquestionable. When reality does not match the construction, suffering arises. The Buddha called this dukkha, the unsatisfactoriness that comes from clinging to what is unstable. Not because the world is against us, but because we are holding tightly to what was never solid to begin with. So how do we begin to see this clearly? We start very simply, with observation. When a thought arises, instead of immediately believing it, we notice it. This is a thought. When a feeling arises, we observe it. This is pleasant, or this is unpleasant. We begin to see that these are events in the mind, not permanent truths. In the practice of mindfulness, especially as taught in the Satipatthana, we learn to watch the body, the feelings, the mind, and the patterns of mind. Not to control them, not to suppress them, but to understand them. As understanding deepens, something begins to shift. We start to notice that thoughts come and go on their own. They are not fully under our command. Feelings arise and pass. Perceptions change. Even strong emotions, when observed carefully, are not solid. They move, they fluctuate, they dissolve. This insight is very freeing. If the mind is constructing its world moment by moment, then that world is not fixed. It is not a prison made of iron. It is more like a pattern made of sand, shaped by conditions. And if it is shaped by conditions, then by changing our relationship to those conditions, the experience of the world also changes. This does not mean we escape reality. It means we begin to meet reality more directly, without the extra layers of confusion. For example, instead of reacting immediately to a difficult situation, we pause and observe. We see the tightening in the body, the surge of feeling, the thoughts forming. By seeing clearly, we are no longer completely inside the construction. There is a small space, a gap of awareness. In that space, wisdom can arise. We may respond more gently. We may choose not to follow a harmful thought. We may simply let a feeling pass, without building a story around it. Over time, this practice weakens the habit of becoming trapped. The mind still constructs, but we are no longer lost in the construction. We begin to recognize it as a process, not as a self, not as an absolute truth. This is closely connected to the Buddha's teaching of not self. What we take to be me or mine is often just a collection of these changing processes. Thoughts, feelings, perceptions, all arising due to causes and conditions. When we see this directly, not just as an idea, but as lived experience, there is a quiet release. We do not need to fight the mind. We do not need to destroy thoughts. We simply understand them. And understanding brings a kind of peace that is steady and natural. It is like sitting by a river. At first, you may feel pulled by the current. Every thought carries you away. But with practice, you learn to sit on the bank and watch the water flow. The river continues, but you are no longer swept away by it. This is the beginning of freedom. It is not dramatic. It is not something that needs to be announced. It is a gentle shift in how we relate to experience. So as you continue your day, you might return to this simple reflection. When something arises, ask quietly, what is the mind adding to this? Notice the labels, the stories, the reactions. See how quickly the world is being shaped. And then, just observe. Not with judgment, not with resistance, but with calm curiosity. In this way, little by little, the walls of the constructed world become more transparent. The sense of being trapped softens, and what remains is a clearer, more direct experience of life as it is. Let this understanding grow slowly, like a seed given water and space. There is no need to rush. Just continue to see, to observe, to understand. And in that understanding, there is a quiet freedom waiting to be discovered.